Sometimes the best kind of puzzle game is the one that doesn't demand too much from you. Games that make you feel smart and give you that satisfying aha moment through their simplicity. Monument Valley and Feed All Monsters are perfect examples of this kind of experience. They're easy to pick up, beautiful to look at, and packed with clever, well-designed puzzles that respect your time and attention. Monument Valley is a short, atmospheric puzzle game that drops you into a world of impossible architecture. It follows a silent princess named Ida as she navigates surreal, brutalist structures that feel like something straight out of a dream. What sets it apart isn't just the art style, although that's a huge part of its appeal. It's the way the puzzles are built entirely around visual illusion. You're not solving traditional escape the room type of puzzles. You're shifting entire buildings, rotating pathways, and making stairs appear out of thin air, all by playing with perspective. The world runs on dreamlike logic. A path only exists once it looks like it does. Its sequel, Monument Valley 2, builds on those same core mechanics, but adds more emotional depth and complexity. This time, you're guiding not just one, but two characters, a mother and her child, through these same impossible spaces. The dual character mechanic introduces new puzzles where coordination becomes essential. You'll manipulate the environment so that both characters can reach their destinations, sometimes activating switches for the other, sometimes traveling separately and often reuniting in visually striking moments. It's a small change, but it adds layers to both the gameplay and the story. The music and sound design in both Monument Valley games is excellent. It perfectly complements the soothing, serene atmosphere. It's subtle, but it adds so much to the experience. I also really liked how Monument Valley handles its storytelling. Instead of dumping a bunch of dialogue or exposition on you, it tells its story through visuals, movement, and overall mood and vibes. It gives you just enough to be curious, then leaves space for you to connect the dots for yourself. That quiet, minimal approach makes everything feel more meaningful. The Monument Valley games gave me a beautiful, relaxing feeling I hadn't experienced from a game in a long time. At the time I first played them, they were actually two of the first more laid-back, casual games I'd ever tried, and ever since I haven't looked back. I've fallen into this rabbit hole of chill, casual games to play in between all the adrenaline-pumping chaos of more mainstream titles. Because of that, I greatly appreciate and respect the Monument Valley games, and it's safe to say they hold a special place in my heart. Finally, it's worth mentioning that both games are available on mobile. I played them on PC, but I think they translate beautifully to touchscreens and would be just as enjoyable on a phone or a tablet. Where Monument Valley draws you into a dreamy world of illusion, Feed All Monsters is grounded in pure grid-based logic, but it's no less clever. On the surface, it looks like a cute, casual puzzle game, but underneath the bright visuals and friendly monsters is a smart system focused on movement and planning. The goal in each level is simple: feed every monster the exact number of time it needs to be fed, or more. I mean, the monsters are not gonna turn down an extra plate of food. But the real challenge comes in doing it within a limited number of steps. Each level takes place on a grid. You start by controlling a single character, but as you progress, you unlock two more, bringing the total to 3 unique characters, each with its own movement range and food supply. One character moves far and feeds a monster once per visit, another covers a medium distance and feeds twice, and the third and final character is able to cover only a very short distance, but feeds a monster 3 times in one visit. Later levels mix these characters together, and choosing who goes where becomes its own puzzle. Each move you make costs movement points, and you only have a limited number per character. Some monsters need 1 meal, others need 2 or 3, and you have to walk up to them to feed them. It's all about efficiency, finding the cleanest path to reach every monster before you run out of steps. To make things more interesting, the game introduces special tiles. Mud tiles cost an extra movement point. Teleporters instantly warp you to another spot on the grid, that kind of stuff. These tiles act as obstacles to your goal and force you to rethink your approach as the levels get trickier. Then there are also items, tools that change how your characters move or feed monsters. You can increase a character's movement points, boost their food supply, or, my favorite, use the frying pan, which lets you feed the monster from a distance once your movement ends. It basically lets you bend the rules and can completely change your strategy for a level. And just when you think you've got it figured out, the game throws in boss levels. These aren't your typical boss fights as there is no combat in the game, but they are big challenges. Boss monsters require a ton of food and need to be visited multiple times by multiple characters. And you still have to satisfy the hunger of all regular monsters around them. The boss levels push everything you've learned to the limit and are a great way to break up the flow after a long stretch of standard levels. They keep things fresh and add a satisfying layer of challenge right when the game needs it. What makes Feed All Monsters so satisfying is how intentional it all feels. Nothing is random, every mechanic is introduced clearly and the complexity ramps up smoothly. It rewards careful planning and experimentation. Some levels even have multiple solutions. I managed to finish a few of them without using all the available items, which made me feel like I had outsmarted the system. It's also worth pointing out the hint system, which is incredibly well done. If you're stuck, you can get a hint, but it doesn't just hand you the answer. Instead, it tells you the starting tile of a random character. That little nudge helps you get unstuck while still letting you solve the puzzle yourself. It's a great balance, and more puzzle games should take note of how Feed All Monsters handles its hint system. Both games, while very different in their look and mechanics, share a key strength: clarity. Monument Valley draws you in with visual poetry and teaches you to see the world differently. Feed All Monsters strips everything down to clean logic and rewards thoughtful planning. Neither game wastes your time, and both respect your intelligence. If you enjoy solving things at your own pace or just want a calm, engaging experience to unwind with, these games are easy to recommend. They show that puzzle games don't have to be overwhelming or overly complex to be memorable. Sometimes all it takes is a clever idea, smart design, and a bit of quiet charm. Let me know in the comments. Have you played either of these games? Or maybe you've got a favorite chill puzzle game I should check out. Thank you very much for watching, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one.